Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is episode number 41, believe it or not. I am Erica, the personal developer.
Hi, and I'm Ivana from Oko Isabel. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Today, we are going to talk about our experience as solo travelers in India, our favorite place, I think. I think it's our favorite place.
Yes, definitely. Before we get started, what are you drinking this morning or this
Okay.
afternoon?
Thank you for saying this afternoon, but I almost fell for this morning because I took a nap. So I feel like I'm starting again in this different new life where I just do whatever I want because it's Friday afternoon. Okay, I'm going to shut up. I'm drinking heartwarming tea from Yogi Tea, which means that it has a lot of ingredients, mainly basil, licorice, lemon juice, orange peel, cinnamon, and ginger. So
Nice.
it's really good, and because of the licorice, it's very sweet. I like it.
Yeah, I'm just drinking a simple peppermint tea.
That's good. You know what? That's
Yeah,
good. I'm gonna go back to simple and basic again because Yogi Tea, they're repeating the messages, and like love your
we can't
soul.
have
I
that.
already know that. Yeah. Little stuff. Um, okay, so I would really love to start this episode by telling everyone like how we've met, because
Yes,
if it wasn't for India, we wouldn't be here sitting down and talking about
that's true.
all the things that we talk about. So for you, the listener, we have met in Rishikesh, India. How many years ago? Is that years already?
Uh, I think almost 2 years ago.
My God, it's years already. So we've met almost 2 years ago. I went to India because I wanted to learn more about yoga and meditation. And I wanted to go like to the source, to go somewhere where I could actually, learn from people who
Mm-hmm.
actually started this movement. I was
Mm-hmm.
lacking a little bit of essence. So I decided to go to India. And when I arrived, Ivana was there. She was helping and also teaching. She taught me yin yoga. I suffered so much.
I think a lot of people did.
We were like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? I think we're so used to doing vinyasa and hatha when you go to yin, because I like yin yoga now. But
Yeah.
first impact is like, what the hell are we doing? Standing here for 3 minutes. Um, yeah, so we engaged in a very deep conversation. For me,
Mm-hmm.
before, you were just like somebody who was working there,
Mm-hmm.
another person. And then we engaged in a conversation, like very deep conversation all of a sudden. And I was like, oh my God, you are me, but just like in a different, life and stuff like that. So we
Yeah.
had so many things in common. And that all happened in Rishikesh, India.
Yeah, it's very true. So we met at the ashram where I was helping out, and my job was to basically give a tour of the ashram to like help people whenever they needed help with something. And then I taught some of the meditations and also the last yoga class.
Yeah.
And you're right, we bonded. I think it was like the course had already finished, and we just sat upstairs talking where we
Yeah.
usually eat. And I think
Hmm.
we bonded over breakups, over how over getting broken up with and over breaking up with people. And then we realized that we are the same person, just in different bodies. We
Yeah,
really
it was.
realized. And then actually after that, I came to visit you in the Canary Islands.
Yeah, yeah, it was true. And it's so interesting that, like, how is it possible that nowadays you can make friends and you go to a totally
Hmm.
different country? And I love that we were there and people from the States, people from, I don't know, Thailand, like so many
Yeah.
different people. And it was so good to connect. And this
Hmm.
is one of the things that especially like the capitals of yoga in India can provide to you. Like
Yes.
you go there and then you find people from everywhere. And this is one of the things that I love the most, the fact that, yes, you are in their culture and you are being taught a lot of different stuff that you're like, whoa, oh my God. And then at the same time, you have all this people looking for a spiritual cleanse, and it's such a mixture. Do you remember like the first time? I just remember right now. Do you remember the first time where you just stepped your foot on in India?
When I did what?
When you
Sorry?
step your foot when you arrived to, sorry guys, I'm here. Sorry. I was just I was just getting something that it's important for this episode. Do you remember when you first arrived to India? Do you remember the feeling, the
Yes, I
moment? Like, how
remember
was
it
it?
was 8 years ago, and I was in Ahmedabad for a wedding, and I walked in and you got hit by this hot air and all these
Yes,
different smells and
yes,
birds flying around at the airport
yeah.
and lots of like beeping from the cars. It was just like an assault on all your senses. Like it just you didn't know where to look first.
Yes, yes. I remember writing on my diary like something like that because like it's like a fest for your senses. You have
Yes.
no idea about the amount of things that you can actually smell and
Mhm.
feel at the same time. So I remember arriving and stepping my feet outside and I was like, "Oh, I'm in India." You know, I felt like I was in India. And it was such
Yes.
a different smell and you could taste the air. Come on, Delhi is not the most glamorous arrival because it's like, oh my God, all this pollution. But for some reason, I just felt really good. I really wanted to
Mhm.
cry when I arrived to India. I loved the energy, I loved
Mhm.
the frenzy. I was not scared. Like, this is so
Yeah.
weird. A lot of people would feel like scared and stuff like that. I was just like, let's go. Uh,
Yeah.
and it was crazy, like the colors and the air, as you said, the hot air, and it was just such a crazy first
Mhm.
impression when you
I
arrived
think
to India.
it's easy to feel completely alive in India because
Oh
all your
yeah,
senses are always engaged. You always have to pay attention to what's going on.
yes, yes, completely. You are always like, ta-da. Well, but at the same time, it is true, yes. But then at the same time, you have places like Pulchati where we have been, and
Mhm.
which is like in the middle of nowhere, and
Yeah.
it's so peaceful. You
Mhm.
know, it's crazy just to arrive in Delhi, which is the place I arrived, and then go to a 10-hour ride. Call me crazy, with the taxi. And all of a sudden you are at this place and there is the river over there and it's so calm and quiet, and I haven't been around much because I was focused on what I was there to do,
Yeah.
but I've heard that, you know, those places, I've heard about the Osho ashram, and it's
Mhm.
like there is noise everywhere, and there's the city, and all of a sudden there is an ashram in the middle of
Mhm.
it. And so I find it fascinating, like, because there's chaos, and then at the same time, there is order and
Yes.
like absolute peace. Like, how can
Mhm.
you feel absolute peace in a place like India? I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain, but you can, and I've
Yeah.
experienced it.
How did you decide to go to Pulchati of all the different ashrams that you could have gone to?
The thing is that they had an article online
Mhm.
uh, for, oof, I don't remember, but I just remember reading an article that had a lot of ashrams, and
Mhm.
you know, I just made a comparison. I knew that they were safe because I was like um, trying to do the research, because safety is an issue in India. We need to
Yes.
be honest, and you just do a quick research. You know, I
Mhm.
am very adventurous. I'm kind of a not scared person. I was just like, if I
Yeah.
want to do something, I would do it no matter what. And you know, I want to go to Brazil. Here I go. Favelas. Here I go. I want to go to India. Here I go. I'm going to Marrakesh by myself. Here I go. But
Yeah.
I do my research and I do my best to be, you know, to
Mhm.
be okay. At least take care of the things that I can control from here.
Mhm.
So I looked up ashrams in India, yoga trainings in India, and Pulchati was at this list along with
Mhm.
other ashrams. And I was like, okay, I like this. I think I sent a message to someone that has been there,
Mhm.
And yeah, so I was like, okay, let's go. And I also felt comfortable because I reached out to the ashram, and they actually sent me the info, like everything that I needed, and they had
Mhm.
like a taxi driver that could take you from the
Mhm.
airport to the ashram, because I was worried about that
Yeah.
part. When I came
Mhm.
back home, I took a bus. I think you helped me out with that.
Yeah.
I think you helped me
Mhm.
out with that, and that was fine. But I wanted to arrive and be safe, knowing
Yeah.
that people in the ashram know that I am going, and they are sending
Mhm.
this person to take me.
Mhm.
Even
Yeah.
it was a 10-hour ride. It was a nightmare. I wouldn't do that again. But I arrived, safe, because
Yeah.
a lot of people had information, and not that it would save
Mhm.
my life, but I just I felt safer.
Yeah, I
How
think
about
it's
you?
important to do your research beforehand.
Oh yes, please.
I think it's important to do your research beforehand of like where you're going. So Pulchati was actually not my first ashram. My first ashram was Amas Ashram in Kerala,
Mm-hmm.
and you could not even compare the two because Amas Ashram there's about 3,000 people that are living there. So imagine yourself
Wow,
its own community. It has its own hospital, it has its own school.
that's
It
crazy.
it's like its own community of everything. It sits on
Mm-hmm.
an island, so like you have to cross the bridge to get to the nearby city or village. But that was my very first ashram experience, and it was so completely different. It was loud and noisy, and but that's what Amma is about. Amma is about bhakti yoga. It's about worship and
Mm-hmm.
prayer
Mm-hmm.
and chanting. And so at Amma's ashram, we do a lot more kirtan chanting, bhajans. So we sing those for about an hour and a half to 2 hours every day, every night. And at
Wow.
Pulchati, we only do that for 30 minutes. So imagine the 30 minutes and like imagine what that would be like if you did that for almost 2 hours.
Oh my God. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you feel
Okay.
full of energy and
Oof.
yeah.
It's such a crazy experience, the chanting mantras with so many people. It's just something
Hmm.
that happens to you.
Yes.
Uh, let's just stop right here. Can you explain people who don't know what an ashram is? Because we're like ashram, ashram, and it's been like 15 minutes, and you probably have no idea what an ashram is. So can you explain
Yeah,
it?
sure. So an ashram is just a spiritual home. It's where a lot of traditionally monks live, but it's also like renunciates and people that have like given up their modern life. But other than that, sometimes you can find householders there as well, and it's just a place where you can go to learn more about spirituality and practice your spiritual practice. And each ashram has their own schedule that they follow. So each ashram is going to be different. They're going to might have the same thing where they're going to have the meditation and the yoga, but other than that, the schedule is going to be different. So an ashram is just a spiritual home for people to deepen their spiritual practice. And then you
Yeah,
have people that visit there daily, and then you have people that actually live there.
yeah, that was great. Okay, so you have different ashrams with different activities, as Ivana
Yes,
said. Like the basic things usually are like yoga, meditation, cleansing work. But you also have some ashrams that are more strict than others. When I was looking for
absolutely.
ashrams, I didn't want to be, I didn't want to do something that I don't want to do. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I know of some ashrams that people will come knocking at your door and make you do
Oh,
the things.
absolutely. So there's an ashram in southern India, the Shivananda ashram, and it's like a military school. It's very
Oh,
strict,
yeah.
and there's a dorm that you stay, make sure that everyone is going to all the activities, and if you're not, they make you go. So it's but some people love that. Like some people need that because that's how they deepen their practice. So it just depends on like what kind of person you are. If you're a person that really needs that like that strictness to get their practice yoga practice going, then you should go there. But
Hmm.
if you prefer if you to do your own thing, then you should go to more liberal ashrams like Amas ashram or in Pulchati. I would say it's somewhat strict, somewhat like liberal in the sense of like we never force you to go to everything. I
Yes.
just always gave my speech at the beginning, I said that you're going to get the most benefits if you go to everything. If you don't miss anything, then you're going to get the most benefit out of it. But I also told everyone, because I did the program myself 3 times, that I did not go to everything the first 2 times. It took me 3 times of doing the program to actually attend everything.
Yeah.
And I like to share that because it makes other people realize that, like, maybe sometimes, like, you don't have the energy to go to everything.
Yeah. And it's just like,
But you get the most benefit if you do.
yeah, I would advise people to do everything. Like, I mean, if you are going, you might as well just do it, because if you want to get the benefits, right, you are there to learn. So if you're not there, if you are, in your cocoon, there's nothing much that you can learn. But what I also
Mhm.
realize is that, like, going to an ashram or going somewhere where you are by yourself without your telephone can be a very tough experience, especially
Mhm.
if you are silent, if you are not used to those things. It can be very emotional and it can be hard to cope with that. So I can easily see some people that leave their countries to go to an ashram to do training or just hang out in an ashram, and not being able to cope with everything, and maybe you need
Mhm.
an hour to stay in your room and cry.
Mhm.
I'm saying
Yeah.
it from experience. I needed, I was dealing with a lot, and so if I wasn't allowed to have that hour and cry, I would feel terribly. And I love structure, and I think I'm good at structure.
Mhm.
If I set my mind to do something, I will do that thing. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm serious, damn serious, like that serious, like I'm leaving my house, I am going to India, I'm spending
Mhm.
thousands of euros over here,
Mhm.
like to stay with
Yeah.
the flight and everything that's involved with it. I am going to do it. But I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that I was going to a place where people are flexible, because I don't know where am I, putting
Yeah.
myself into. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I don't want people to tell
Mhm.
me that I do have to do something that I'm not
Yeah.
comfortable with.
And
So,
sometimes you can go to an ashram and not have to stay in the ashram. So there's this ashram
mm,
called Ramana Maharishi's ashram in Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu. That's about 5 hours southwest of Chennai. And it's a very famous ashram, but there you have to make reservations 3, 4 months in advance. So what a
mhm,
lot of people do is they stay in guest houses, and I've done the same thing. And then they just go into the ashram daily to partake part of their daily activities. And there's really not that much going on in the ashram. They don't have any activities really, but you just go to sit in the meditation hall because it has such peaceful energy. Like when you go, it's like everything just is quiet and so
mm,
calm. And I love that energy. And it's actually next to Arunachala mountain, and that's considered like a Shiva mountain. It has very like high energy. And what you do there is that on the full moon, you walk 14 kilometers around the mountain barefoot,
wow,
and afterwards, like, it takes about 4 hours afterwards. Like, you can't go to sleep. Like, I could not, because you do it at 10 o'clock at night and you finish about 2 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning, and you're so full of energy. Like, it feels, I can't describe it, but just you feel like somebody plugged you into an electrical socket. It's like all your life you've been living like you are, and all of a sudden someone just charged you.
hmm.
And with that kind of energy, you can't go to sleep. It's such an amazing feeling. But that's just another ashram experience where you don't have to stay in the ashram, but you're welcome to come in from the outside and participate.
Yeah, I would say beginners, if you are doing this for the first time, just look for an ashram, but it's not that strict.
Yes,
Because otherwise it can be hard to cope with.
I
We have
agree.
been talking about the activities that you can do in different ashrams. I only have experience, because I only have been to Pulchati. So we want to give you like an insight of how that would work, okay? Because we
Mm-hmm.
have an actual schedule here, because
Yeah.
I saved it. And we're going to talk about it just for you to know more or less what happens. So you would wake up at around 5:30 a.m. ish. Uh, there is a wake up bell like ding ding ding, so you cannot miss it, unless you are a very good like heavy sleeper. Then you have a silent meditation, like of half an hour, between starting at 6 and finishing at six
Mm-hmm.
thirty. And then there is chanting. Um, After chanting, you have yogic cleansing. I didn't like that much. I didn't like it.
Really, I loved it. I didn't like it the first time I did it, but basically with the yoga cleansing, you use a neti pot to clean your nasal
Yes.
passages. And the first time, if you've never done it, it looks really scary. To like, you want me to stick up something up my nose? Like what? And it looks funny doing it, but then you realize the
Yes.
benefit that you get out of it, and it's amazing. And I actually have done it when I was sick, and it helped clear it up.
Yeah. I know it
Yes.
helps. I'm good at it. I was like twice and I was like, and then water was coming from here, but I just didn't like it. Do you know what I used to do? So, yeah, I used to do the meditation and then I went to my bedroom and ate some
Ah.
snacks.
Okay. But that's, you know what? Nobody came and checked on you to tell you
No,
how
no,
to go.
nobody tell me anything. And
Yeah.
then after the cleansing, I was already, I had my snack, and we had a breathing exercise, and we would practice yoga, and have breakfast at 9 a.m.
Hmm.
So that was what
And
happened.
something important to mention too is that at Pulchati, we absorb silence.
Yes.
And we do that from 9 o'clock at night until 1 o'clock the next morning. So until after lunch, everybody has to be silent. And we eat all our meals in silence, which is very difficult for a lot of people.
That was my favorite thing. I was like,
See,
oh my God.
I
That's
loved it. I've never done it
so
before until I
cool.
came there, but I absolutely loved it.
Yes, I loved it as well. I was like, I don't have to talk to no one. Are you okay?
Yeah, just the message coming in. Okay, it's fine. I don't know. My phone was saying doing something weird. It's fine
Okay,
now.
okay, we're fine. Okay, so during my stay, my phone didn't want to work or something. I don't know what happened, but I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna go
Hmm.
all in. So we had breakfast, and after that, we had karma yoga, which is like service yoga. You do something just for the sake of doing, of helping.
Hmm.
It's none of your business. It's karma yoga. Then we had a beautiful nature walk. You
Yes.
did one with us, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I led those
That was
to
cool.
you because we would lead you to a place like the river or up a mountain, and then we would have you sit there for about 30 minutes and meditate, and then we would take you back.
Yeah, that was very cool. I loved it. Really loved it, and it was silent as well.
Yes.
And people were like, "This is weird. We cannot speak."
Let's talk about that. So a lot of
Let's
people
talk
find
about
the
that.
silence weird and strange. And I always tell people like try. Like for me, it was very difficult the first time I ever did it because I came from such a like I'm a lawyer. I like that's what I do for a living. I talk. So it was very difficult and I journaled and it led me to journal a lot more things. But once you like do it, you see the benefit of silence has on everything because like if you're silent while you're eating, you can really taste the food and it tastes so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I love silence. I just,
Mhm.
I love silence, and you know that I do silent days where I don't speak. My last silent day, I had my boyfriend with me, and we were both silent. So it was,
Mhm.
and for me, it's just beautiful because um, we receive so many things from the outside.
Yes.
Either it's music. You have to be nowadays. You are in a responsive state all the time, right?
Mhm.
We're here
Mhm.
talking, a message is coming in, right? We know that we have the next thing coming, and you know that someone may call you and may ask you a question. You are walking around and people may ask you something. You are thinking about your things, and then someone just um, horns. Uh, you
Yeah.
have so many things right now.
Mhm.
We are
Mhm.
here, and it looks like this is silence, but this is
Mhm.
not silence at all. Like my computer make noises that I cannot hear, like
Mhm.
consciously, but it's there. The
Yeah.
thing, and it's like when you go to nature and you shut up for a second, you know what I mean? That's
Yes, you can
silence.
listen.
What we
Mhm.
live right now, this is not silence. You can be like,
Yeah.
we can be like this, and there's no silence. My neighbors are here, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of noise coming. And the thing about silence is that first, you are not in a responsive mode. You can actually just calm down a little bit your nervous system
Mhm.
because there's nothing um,
Mhm.
to respond to. and then you see things differently.
Yes.
Walking in silence is beautiful. You notice everything. You notice
Mhm.
the shape of the rocks, you notice if there's a different plant. And like you are with yourself, with your thoughts. If you cannot spend time with yourself, you have a problem.
Hey, this is Erica from the editing side of things. You just reached the end of this, the first part of this episode, basically, about solo traveling in India. The second part is coming out next week. We thought it was a little bit too long, so we decided to cut it in half. We really, really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel so you can help us grow and reach out to more people. And also just leave a comment if you want to say something, if you want to say hi, even if you just need help with something. We always like to help, okay? Just feel free to reach out to us. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, so that's it. I hope I see you next week. Bye bye.